Burnt of Sloss Furnace. Birmingham, Alabama, was established 5 years after the Civil War. When Sloss furnaces were first built in 1871, the United States needed masses of pig iron to repair its deteriorating infrastructure. According to the company's official website, hundreds of employees entered the building a year later. Work on blast furnaces was both sophisticated and dangerous, and many employees began dying after plummeting to their deaths inside the furnaces. Intense scalded heat burning through their flesh, screams and pains searing the walls with echoes of the victim. Welcome to the channel, subscribe and let's dive in. A yearly tradition in Birmingham, Sloss Furnaces hosts a variety of performances and even a haunted house. However, a lot of people are unaware of the rich history of Sloss Furnaces, which includes contributing to war efforts and boosting both local and global economy. Colonel James Withers Sloss, the man at the center of this history, is the protagonist. From North Alabama, Sloss was a businessman and railroad executive. In addition to Sloss Furnaces, he was a crucial contributor to the establishment of Birmingham as a city. Sloss unintentionally chose the location of the new city when he persuaded the L&N Railroad firm to fund the development of the South and North Rail route through Jones Valley. The 18-acre urban oasis known as Sloss Furnaces is historically significant and a popular tourist destination. Every year, tourists from all over the world who want to explore this mysterious labyrinth of pipes that was once a thriving business in the center of Birmingham, Alabama, are welcomed by the rusty collection of blast burners and smoke stacks. There is more to this website than meets the eye, despite its harmless facade. During the day, visitors can take a tour of this enormous blast furnace, which once produced more than 1,000 tons of pig iron daily. Visitors can see the enormous machinery up close and personal where hundreds of people formerly toiled in the stifling heat. At their brand new visitor and education center, visitors may also explore the property's enormous slag buckets, gloomy tunnels, and distinctive steel master arch. Around $4 million in furnishings and 12,000 square feet of exhibition space are included in this 16,000 square foot, $5.7 million facility. It also boasts one of the country's rarest steel buildings. Sloss was designated a National Historic Monument in 1981, and as a museum for the city of Birmingham, it first welcomed visitors in September 1983. Two 400-ton blast furnaces and over 40 other structures make up its collection. The only remaining blast furnace from the 20th century that is being maintained and understood as a historic industrial site is Sloss. The Sloss collection is a singular contribution to the interpretation of 20th century iron-making technology and offers a remarkable perspective on the period when America grew to be the world's preeminent industrial power because of the dramatic scale and complexity of the plant's industrial structure, machines, and tools. For anyone who has witnessed them, the Sloss furnace hauntings are a very genuine phenomenon that you will never forget. The Birmingham, Alabama, area's renowned furnaces, which were in use from 1882 until 1971, are now recognized as a National Historic Landmark. While they were operating at full capacity, they were among the biggest and most effective pig iron furnaces in the nation. They were one of the first industrial sites to be designated as a historical site by the U.S. Department of Interior after they closed. The South's industries were in complete disarray when the Civil War drew to a conclusion. The majority of the manufacturing plants were destroyed by the Union Army, along with universities and mutation plants. Building supplies were not only in short supply but also hard to come by once reconstruction and rebuilding in the South got underway. Pig iron was no different, but it was a less refined kind of iron that required blast furnaces to refine into useful iron. One of the original founders of the city of Birmingham, Mr. James Sloss, built and inaugurated these furnaces in 1881. He already had a huge fortune and wanted to profit from this renovation. Under his leadership at this new plant, the production of pig iron not only grew but also took off. The very successful business was sold by Mr. Sloss after 5 years, and the new owner handled things very differently. One of the first things he did was hire new employees from a different plant in the city without stringent regulations. Theo Jowers, one of the men, was a journeyman with some prior experience in the furnace industry. He was regarded as an important member of the group. Mr. Jowers quickly prospered at the Sloss furnaces, but it was starting to cause some issues with many of the other workers. At the Alice furnaces, where he originated, furnaces had a reputation for being hazardous. In fact, over 47 workers had passed away at the plant over a period of 15 years because the rules there were less strict than they had been at Sloss. Long shifts were one of the modifications implemented under the new management, which made the situation much more dangerous. Everyone's displeasure was only increased by the fact that the men's on-housing facilities were so poor. Folklore has it that Jowers was working one of the night shifts in October 1887 and was situated over one of the hottest blast furnaces. He was exhausted and overworked like the majority of the other men, so he lost his balance and fell into the furnace head first. Although several of the workers who saw the event disagreed, slippage may have been the cause. They claimed that it appeared as though he had been pushed, but there was a significant issue with this: nobody was present. Another folktale claims that Jowers was killed and that the only body part that was ever found was a severely charred heart. A local painter's body was discovered there in 1897, but he was not employed there. His body was discovered in a pit of open water, but it had been boiled alive before he died. According to folklore, he was drinking at a pub with someone no one had ever seen when he was forcibly dragged to the furnaces and executed. The Sloss Furnace hauntings, however, are now starting to grow much more intriguing. There began to be reports of Theo Jowers' ghost working alongside some of the men he knew well. Also, there were reports of things flying into the water tank where the body of the boiling man was discovered. Some witnesses reportedly reported hearing voices saying, "Look out for the heat," or "Hurry up," from nowhere. The most well-known Sloss Furnace hauntings legend, however, centers on a man by the name of Sam Blumenthal. There are other Sloss Furnace hauntings legends as well. He was a night watchman who was employed in 1971, which was a lot later than some of the older tales. He was being violently pushed up several flights of stairs one night as he was performing his shift by someone or something. He managed to free himself at last, but as he turned back, what he saw was terrible. When he went to the hospital after being touched by whatever it was, he had significant burn marks. It was an apparition that looked like a hybrid of a man and a beast. The location, which is now a National Historic Landmark, doubles as a museum and is renowned across the country for its metal arts program. Nonetheless, for hundreds of people, the Sloss Furnace hauntings are still present and extremely real. Richard Jowers was working at Furnace No. 1 on September 9, 1887. He slipped when standing at the furnace's top and fell into the molten steel below along with the large bell he was about to melt. Nobody could assist, so they were forced to watch helplessly as Jowers was burned alive. It is said that before his remains were completely gone, they were able to remove his head and a few other bones. This historic structure, now a national treasure, nonetheless reverberates with sounds from its deadly past at night. The Blower Building's second story is home to the demonic ghost known as Slag, an excessively nasty foreman who can be heard insulting his staff. Screams are heard and apparitions are seen there. Many of the common men who labored and perished at Sloss Furnaces helped build the Magic City. They might spook around the area so the city won't forget their grisly sacrifice. By the turn of the century, James Slag Wormwood, a ruthless foreman who took unnecessary risks to boost productivity, had made things much worse. Almost 50 workers lost their lives at Sloss during his time there, and numerous others were hurt in horrible mishaps. His employees allegedly hurled him into the furnace as payback in 1906. If you dare, you can still wander through the Sloss Furnace's grounds today. Even Slag's voice screaming, "Go back to work," might be heard, along with other strange occurrences. Thank you for watching. Follow for more.